Hi, my name is Kylie Stewart, and I'm doing my fourth Read, Watch, and Respond. And for this one, I chose to read The Changing by Julia Ortiz-Cofer. It's a short poem written in 1952 and can be found on page 70 in this book, The Literature and Gender. Okay. So I read this poem a couple times. It's a pretty easy read, but I feel like if you just read it quickly, you kind of miss some spots, so I went back and reread it to make sure I got all the points. So the narrator tells about a young girl that desired her father's attention. So she decided to make up a game that drew his attention. In the poem, it says that he works hard and doesn't really look up. So for her to get his attention was a big thing for her. She would dress up in clothes from her brother's closet, and it says she would hide her hair in a hat so she would really look like a boy. So basically, she covered up all her feminine features because she wanted to be a boy, I guess. She would dance around the room telling war stories and stories that only men would talk about. Her father would watch and listen and smile, which while reading this, I had to go back and look at it and remember that we're in 1952, so there were gender roles to be followed, and they were pretty strict about them. Soon it was dinner time, and her mother was not fond of her dressing up like a boy, so she made her go change back into her girl clothes and braid her hair before she was allowed to sit at the table and do her job and help in the kitchen. This poem is about a young girl who likes to dress up in her brother's costumes and make up vivid stories and tell them to her father while he is reading. The only problem is she is torn between the want for her father's attention and the need for her mother's approval and to meet the feminist expectations of her mother. She plays dress up because her father thinks her skits are humorous and will never take her seriously, but at least she has his attention. So basically what I got from that is that the little girl came to the conclusion that she would have to be funny to get her father's attention, and sometimes even bad attention was better than no attention at all. While she listens to her mother and goes to change and braid her hair before she sits down to eat and helps in the kitchen because she needs her mother's love. You can tell that she's kind of annoyed that her mom doesn't really support her stories, but in the end, her role as a woman in that time is to be in the kitchen. This poem is set in a time when a girl's place is in the kitchen, while men are the ones that are encouraged to experience battles and to brag and tell the gory stories about their experiences. Therefore, the young girl rebels through her skits and costumes and battle stories. So, obviously, the girl isn't happy being in the kitchen, so she finds a creative output and she dresses up. I think that this poem was interesting because it was a reminder of how much times have changed since 1952. Back then, women kitchen, men fought, and everything has kind of just changed since then. Men can go in the kitchen, women can go in the kitchen, women can fight, men can fight. Basically, women can do anything a man can do. And while I support this, I think that those roles were created for a reason. I think that change is good, but sometimes we do have to remember that there are certain things women can't do and men can't do. But I mean, I'm all for people trying and making the most of what they have and doing their best. So I would recommend this poem to people because, one, it was short, easy read. 2, it's actually interesting. Not that this other stuff isn't, but I thought it was interesting. And 3, it just kind of makes you remember that times have changed since 1952, and it kind of makes you think about the gender roles back then and how lucky we are. Thank you.